Hello, dear children. Today, let us study the fifth chapter of your geography. The name of the chapter is Water. Boys, water is very much essential for all living things. Without water, life cannot sustain. So, we are using water for various purposes. Here, let us study about water. When you think of water, what images come to your mind? You think of rivers, the waterfalls, the pitter patter of raindrops, water in your taps. So, boys, when you think of water, at the time, what images it come to your mind? You think about waters of rivers, waterfalls, and raindrops which falls, water in your taps, and so on like this others. Okay, children love to float paper boats in train puddles. Children, small children, they like what? To float boats which is made of paper in rain puddles. Puddles mean a small pool of liquid like that. By noon the puddles vanish. Where does the water go? So by noon the puddles vanish, means at afternoon, boys, that the small pool of liquid, it disappeared completely. So where does the water go? As it has vanished, there is no liquid, no water there. Where does the water go? The sun's heat causes evaporation of water into vapor. See, it is because of the heat of the sun. It evaporates. It changes that water into vapor. When the water vapor cools down, it condenses and forms clouds. See, when this water vapor, it cools down, it condenses, it make denser and forms clouds. So from earlier, that means at first you find water there, and from water it evaporates as vapor, and when this vapor it condenses, it forms clouds. From there it may fall on the land or sea in the form of rain, snow or sleet. So from the clouds, okay, it may fall on the land or sea in the form of, say, rain, snow or sleet. Sleet means rain containing some ice. The process by which water continually changes its form and circulates between oceans, atmosphere and land is known as the water cycle. The process, you see, by which this water frequently changes its form and move continuously between oceans, atmosphere, and land is known as the water cycle. Boys, you just tick mark this one. If it asks what is water cycle, you have to answer. And this water cycle with the level diagram, the diagram which is given here in this page, figure 5.1. This one also you have to draw nicely in your notebook, and you have to know how to draw this one. Okay, this one also may ask in any exam. What is water cycle? Draw a level diagram of water cycle. So this process, boys, it take place all the times. Okay, from water it goes or flying, that means in the sky, in the vapor form. There it condenses, and when it condenses it becomes heavier. Their clouds cannot their air cannot hold due to its heaviness. Then at the time it falls on the earth as rain, snow, sleet, etc. Okay, so continually as this process is going on, and this process is known as water cycle. Our earth is like a terrarium. Boys, have a look towards the left side of your book of this page, at the left margin, terrarium. And one activity also has given, you can practice this one at your home. So here it means that our earth is like a terrarium. The same water that existed centuries ago still exists today. The same water which existed centuries ago, before several hundred years, still it exists, which we can see today also. The water used to irrigate a field in Haryana may have flowed down the Amazon River 100 years ago. See, the water which is used to irrigate a field, means to supply the field for growing crops in Haryana, it may have flowed down the Amazon River. Okay, that water may be from Amazon River also, which is very far from Haryana, a river 100 years ago, as this water is flowing different places. So who knows, that water may be from Amazon River. The major sources of fresh water are the rivers, ponds, springs, and glaciers. Come on, tick mark this one also, boys. If it asks what are the major sources of fresh water, you have to say the major sources of fresh water are the rivers, ponds, springs, and glaciers. So from these different sources which is mentioned here, we can get fresh water. The ocean bodies and the seas contain salty water. Boys, ocean water, okay, and seas waters, they have, or the water of those, that means water bodies, is mixed with salt. They are called salty water, okay, because the taste of ocean water and seas water is salty. This water of the oceans is salty or saline as it contains large amount of dissolved salts. See, this one also, it can ask, why are the oceans and seas water saline in taste? So you can answer, the water of the oceans is, or the water of the oceans is salty or saline as it contains large amount of dissolved salts. Okay, large amount of salt is mixed with that water. It dissolved there in the water. So this water of seas and oceans is not suitable for human consumption, and it is also not used for any cultivation because of its saltness. Okay, most of the salt is sodium chloride or the common table salt that you eat. So most of the salt, it is sodium chloride or the common table salt that which you eat. Now let us see next page, distribution of water bodies. Where are water, that means spread in what condition? Let us see. We all know that 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered by water. Boys, did you know that 3/4 of the total surface area of the earth is covered by water? If there is more water than land on the earth, why do so many countries face water scarcity? So we find here 3/4 of the total land area is covered by water. If there is more water than land on the earth, then why do so many countries are facing their lack of water? Is all the water on the earth available to us? The following table gives the distribution of water in percentage. So is all the water on earth available to us? Whatever water it is present on the earth, is it available to us? So the following table, the table which is cited under, it shows, it gives the distribution of water in percentage. Have a look, percentage here. Ocean 97.3, that is saline water. Ice caps, percentage of water, you see, ice caps, then groundwater, freshwater lakes, then inland seas and salt lakes, then atmosphere, rivers. Then you see among these, ocean water is 97.3%, and then remaining others, here we find what? Only very less quantities of water which is fresh. Okay, boys, have a look again, left margin of this page. Salinity is the amount of salt in grams present in 1000 grams of water. The average salinity of the oceans is 35 parts per thousand. Tick mark it, okay, and know it. Dead Sea in Israel has salinity of 340 grams per liter of water. See what a huge quantities of salt is mixed there. Swimmers can float in it because the increased salt content makes it dense. See, water distribution can be demonstrated by a simple activity. See activity box. Okay, water distribution, it can be it can show, okay, something clearly by giving proof. As example, this activity which is given here as under, you just get through, okay, and you can do this activity also. Water is absolutely essential for survival. Yeah, I have already cleared to you, no life is possible without water. So water is totally essential for survival. To remain alive, water is totally required. Water alone can quench our thirst when we are thirsty. So only water it can satisfy our thirsty as we feel thirsty at the time. Only water can satisfy our thirst. Now, don't you think we are wasting a precious resource when we use water carelessly? Boys, now whether you are not thinking that, as it is very precious to us, okay, water is very precious, which is connected to our life, then don't you think we are wasting a precious resource when we use water carelessly? It should not be, okay, boys. Uselessly, we should not use water, okay? Carelessly, water should not be used because it is a precious resource to us, okay? Which is related to our life. And then from newspaper, you just read it, and then several questions. It has some questions also given here. Why is water important for us, like this? You yourself, you can answer this, okay? Now, ocean circulation. That is the ocean circulation. There is something magical about walking bare feet on the seashore. There is something magical, okay? It is very interesting also about walking without any, say, shoes or slipper or chappals, okay, barefoot on the seashore, means at the side of the sea. The wet sand on the beach means a sandy or pebbly shore, okay. The cool breeze means a gentle wind. The sea birds, the smell of the salt in the air and music of the waves, everything is so fascinating, okay. All these things, these are very attractive to us, okay. The beautiful scenery of that place, the breeze, cool breeze, a beach and shivers, and the smell of the salt, and the sound of the waves also, okay. Music of the waves means sound of the waves. Unlike the calm water of ponds and lakes, ocean water keeps moving continuously, okay. It is not like the water of ponds and lakes and ponds water, it remains calm. Calm means not showing, okay, so any strong emotions or movement like that, okay. Ocean water keeps moving continuously, okay. Boys, ponds and lakes water, it remains without any movement, but ocean water, it keeps moving all the time. It is never still, okay. It never remain quite silent here. The movements that occur in oceans can be broadly categorized as, so the movement which occur in oceans, it can be grouped as waves, tides and currents. These are the movement of water of that, okay, ocean. Now, one by one, we will learn about these waves, tides and currents. Boys, have a look again. There one important fact it has given towards the right margin of this page. March 22 is celebrated as as World Water Day, when the need to conserve water is reinforced in different ways. So 22nd March is celebrated as World Water Day, okay, boys. When that means there was need to save water is reinforced in different ways. waves. Now let us discuss one by one, okay, about the movements of ocean water. Waves. When you are playing throw ball on the beach and the ball falls into the water, what happens? It is fun to watch how the ball gets washed back to the shore by the waves. If you throw a ball, that ball will float in water, and it is fun to watch how that ball gets washed, okay, which comes backward, okay, and it comes, that means near you or at the side. At the side of the seas or ocean. When the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternately, they are called waves. So water waves, if it asks, you have to say this one, mark this one also. When the water on the surface of the ocean, it rises, it rises higher and falls again, falls alternatively, okay, alternately. In this manner, again goes up and comes down like that. They are called waves. During a storm, the wind blowing at a very high speed form huge waves. So during storm means very bad weather with lot of rain, strong winds, okay, very strong winds, it's called storm, okay boys. So at the time, the winds blowing at very high speed from huge waves, that means it used to form huge waves. This may cause tremendous destruction, okay, it may cause very large or great destroying something or damaging many things there. An earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or underwater landslides can shift large amounts of ocean water. See, earthquake, was the sudden shaking of the surface of the earth is known as earthquake, and then volcanic eruption, that, or underwater landslides, it can shift large amounts of ocean waters. As a result, a huge tidal wave called tsunami that may be as high as 15 meters is formed. Here, an earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or underwater landslides can shift large amounts of ocean water. As a result of this, a huge tidal means very large works, okay, in the sea which destroys things. Wave called tsunami that may be as high as 15 meters is formed. The largest tsunami ever measured was 150 meters high. These waves travel at a speed of more than 700 kilometers per hour. See, the largest tsunami so far is measured, it was 150 meters. Okay, and these waves travel at a speed of more than 700 kilometers per hour. The tsunami of 2004 caused widespread damage in the coastal areas of India, boys, in the year 2004. Great tsunami was caused, okay, which affected even some parts of our India, okay, especially the southern part, okay. Then, and it was caused in the year 2004, you must remember it, okay, mark it. And widespread damage in the coastal areas of India, it was caused by the tsunami. The Indira Point, okay, an Indira Point, whose old name is Pygmalion Point, okay, boys. It is there in Andaman and Nicobar Island. The last end part of India is the Indira Point. Earlier it was, okay. So it is there in Nicobar Islands. Got submerged means it sink inside the water after the tsunami. As this tsunami was caused in the year 2004, it said that means the Indira Point, it sink inside the water. Tsunami, the Earth's phenomenon, you just get through this one, okay. Now let us see tides, boys. The rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day is called a tide. Come on, mark this one also. Okay, if it asks what is a tide, you have to answer the rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day. Tides, it goes twice in a day, okay. So this rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water, it rise and fall twice in a day, boys. So that rise and falls of water is called a tide. It is high tide when water covers much of the shore by rising to its largest level. Okay, when at the time, that means when high tide occurred, the water, it covers much of the shore. Shore means then at the edge of a sea or lake, thereby rising to the highest level. It is low tide, so high tide and low tide, two types of tides you find here. It is low tide when water falls to its lowest level. When the water it falls, it goes to its lowest level and recedes from the shore. It is known as low tide. Okay, so what are high tides and low tides? This one also you need to know. Twice in a day, okay, sea water, it rises and falls down, which are known as tides. So you just mark all these. What are tides? What are different types of tides? What is high tide and what is low tide, like that, okay. The strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and the moon on the earth's surface causes the tides. So you tick mark this one also. The strong gravitational means an attraction the earth exert on an object, which is pull. Okay, exerted means to make use of something by the sun and the moon on the earth's surface causes the tides. See how our tides cause. If it asks, you need to answer this one. The water of the earth closer to the moon gets pulled under the influence of moon's gravitational force and causes high tide. See, the water of the earth closer to the moon. See how are this high tide it goes here, boys. The water of the earth closer to the moon gets pulled, moved under the influence, means power to effect of the moon's gravitational force, and it causes high tide. During the full moon and new moon days, the sun, the moon, and the earth are in the same line and the tides are highest. See, during the full moon and the new moon, there's the sun, the moon, and the earth, they are in the same line and the tides are highest at that time. These tides are called spring tides. See here another kinds of tides we find, okay. High tide, low tide, spring tides, okay. Then mark this one also. What is a spring tide? What are spring tides? But when the moon is in its first and last quarter, the ocean waters get drawn in diagonally opposite precautions, okay. Then here what happened? But when the moon is in its first and last quarter, the ocean waters it get drawn in diagonally opposite directions by the gravitational pull of sun and moon, resulting in low tides. See how that means low tides it caused. Okay, this one also you have to know. These tides are called nip tides. Again, another one we find here. So far we find that means high tide, low tides, spring tides, and nip tides. So what are nip tides? Also you need to do know, boys. Mark this one also. High tides help in navigation. Okay, navigation means journey by ship like that. So high tides these are helpful. See, in navigation, they raise the water level close to the shores. This helps the ships to arrive at the harbor more easily. So here they used to raise the water level close to the shores, and this helps the ships to arrive at the harbor. Harbor, the place where ship used to stay. Okay, or people used to get down from the ship, or they go inside the ship. So at that place here you see these tides. Okay, it helps the ships to arrive at the harbor more easily. The high tides also help in fishing. High tides it is also helpful for fishing. Many more fish come closer to the shore during the high tide. This enables fishermen to get a plentiful catch. So see these high tides how it is helpful for our fishermen. It enables fishermen to get available, okay, of large numbers of catch of fish. The rise and fall of water due to tides is being used to generate electricity in some places. So the rise and fall of water because of tides is being used in order to generating power in some places. So boys, this one see if it asks given if for importance of tides, you have to write from this paragraph. Okay, just tick mark all this. Ocean currents. Ocean currents are streams of water flowing constantly on the earth's surface in definite directions. Ocean currents, these are streams, small rivers of water which are flowing always on the ocean surface in a definite direction, in particular directions. The ocean currents may be warm or cold. Generally, the warm ocean currents originate near the equator and move towards the poles. See, most probably boys, the warm ocean currents it originate near the equator and move towards the poles, either North Pole or South Pole. The cold currents carry water from polar or higher latitudes to tropical or lower latitudes. The cold currents it used to carry water from polar area, okay, or higher latitudes to tropical or lower latitudes. The Labrador Ocean current is cold current, while the Gulf Stream is a warm current. Labrador means a cold current that flows in the North Atlantic Ocean. Okay, current is cold, while the Gulf Stream is a warm current. The ocean current influence the temperature conditions of the area. Ocean currents it affect the temperature conditions of the area. Warm currents bring about warm temperature over land surface. Warm currents it used to bring about warm temperature over the land surface. The areas where the warm and cold currents meet provide the best fishing grounds of the world. See boys, the place or the areas where warm and cold current meets, it provides the best fishing grounds of the world. Seas around Japan and the eastern coast of North America are such examples. So seas which is there around Japan and the eastern coast of North America, these are such examples. The areas where a warm and cold current meet also experience foggy weather, making it difficult for navigation. So the areas where a warm and cold current meet, that meeting place also experience foggy, total of fog, okay, there. So as it is foggy, so weather of that place, it is making it difficult for navigation, okay. It is difficult to travel by water due to this fogginess, okay. So tides, boys, what is a tide? If anybody asks, or what are tides, you have to say the regular rise and fall of the level of seawater due to the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon twice daily are known as tides. You have to say this definition, okay, of what are tides. So later on, that means you will get notes also. So here is the end of the chapter, boys. Thank you all.